It's Jefferson, climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness! Come
You want me to host tonight, Locks?
Oh, you, buddy.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the PGA Showdown show. I got my boy Locks here, and I am Red Kachik, and we're going to be breaking down round 3 for the RBC Canadian Open. Apologies for starting 5 minutes late, but we got some winners for you. And yesterday was a pretty good show with Snyder. I wish Snyder could have joined us tonight, but Mr. Carl Yuan, the guy that we brought up at the very end of the show, in the lead. So, Locks, how's everything going for you? How's the tournament looking? Are you excited for this this leaderboard that doesn't seem so exciting?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem too exciting at all. I see a few guys here. I think they're going to rise to the top tomorrow. We'll talk about that as we dive into it a little bit, but week isn't too great for me. No 6 out of 6s. I got a 5 out of 6 that's decent, but we'll see where it goes. Nothing too crazy for me this week, so I'm just kind of waiting for next week. I think at this point, maybe pick a few showdown winners, which is what we're here to do. Obviously, make up for the bad week in the Classics. So, we'll dive into. It's going to be hard to beat last night's show. So we got to pick some winners here tonight.
Yeah, hopefully Snyder's at dinner, so hopefully he's listening. I'll give him a shout out. He didn't shoot down my Carl Yuan call, so happy to see him grab a share of the lead. Or no, he's actually solo lead, so perfect. Yeah, I think some of the studs actually played decent to get it back into position to possibly win this thing. It's pretty jammed up. I mean, there's got to be, let's just call it 31 guys within 5 shots of the lead. So, yeah, it's pretty jammed up. So how do you want to do tonight's show? You want to start from Carl Yuan -9. You want to work our way down the leaderboard?
Yeah, let's just do it that way. That's the easiest way, I think.
All right. I mean, we'll just talk about Yuan really quick, and then we'll hit the -8s. But I mean, honestly, he's hit the ball really well. There's really no reason to go above and beyond and play a guy in the lead, especially Carl Yuan. So I don't know if you have any specific hot take, but for me, I think just we could skip Carl Yuan and move into the -8s. But I wanted to bring him up because he has played really well. He just hasn't played really well all season, so this is kind of out of nowhere to a certain degree, but a little bit like Korn Ferry Tour last season.
Yeah, for me, I don't really have any interest for round 3. I mean, I'm fine if you want to play him because tee to green wise, he's been super solid. A little bit inconsistent putting and approach, but I don't know. I don't see myself getting there either. I'm kind of with you there.
Yeah, I mean, he's cheap, but there's, like we talked about on last night's show, there's a lot of cheap guys that are playing pretty well in a weaker field event. So yeah, there's going to be plenty of salary, and there's really no reason. I didn't check what the weather looks like for tomorrow. Snyder was on top of that yesterday for some rain this afternoon. I don't know if that held true or not, but again, 6,900. He's playing really well. I see why someone would want to fill their last spot with him, but for me, you're looking, especially in the bigger GPPs, there's no point. He's going to be overowned. Just avoid the situation. So I just wanted to bring that up really quick. But we can talk about the -8s there. We got Tyrrell Hatton, Corey Connors, Aaron Rye, and CT Pan. So to me, man, Corey Connors is playing good. I played him full week slate, played him in round 2. The dude is playing really well tee to green. It's kind of like his game on any other week anyway. So the one guy that I would go to back is Corey Connors. Obviously, the Canadian line, I guess you could say, helps him a bit. But Aaron Rye's playing decent. But for me, I think Corey Connors at 9,400 would be a guy. He may even be my top guy. Like, honestly, at 9,400, you could build a lineup, avoid the 10K, and go to Corey Connors. So for me, in the 8K range, Corey Connors hitting a ton of fairways, hitting a ton of greens. It seems like probably the safest play on the slate from a consistency standpoint.
Yeah, I would say I agree with you there as far as the eight under guys in this range. The other guy I do like is Tyrrell Hatton. Had him in my core for round 2 here. I mean, the guy played so well today. He's been playing really, really well this year, and he's due for a win. I could see him taking this down here. He's just I mean, he's not going to shoot 8 under again tomorrow. Don't get me wrong, but I can see a 4 or 5 under from him again tomorrow. And I think him and Connors are kind of going to take away this leaderboard here. I think they're going to take off tomorrow and possibly run away with it. And maybe Rory might creep into that too, as we'll get into. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. I like Tyrrell Hatton and I like Corey Connors out of these 8 under guys personally.
Yeah, I was looking up. Corey Connors only has 9 birdies for the week. I mean, that's pretty far down the list as far as guys making birdies on this golf course. I think like Aaron Rye and somebody else yesterday had like 8. So you're looking at Corey Connors arguably has some birdie regression based on how well he's playing tee to green. So never going to argue with a top guy like Tyrrell Hatton. And as we go down into like Rory McIlroy, obviously they always have the kind of break the slate type of performances. So we can keep it moving. -7 range. We have, looks like 6 guys here. Brendan Todd, Justin Lauer, Andrew Novak, Chesson Hadley, Jonathan Bird, and Harry Higgs. For me, no one really stands out in this range, to be honest. A lot of guys are gaining strokes putting. They don't really look like they're excelling tee to green. Honestly, most of these guys are basically right at even off the tee and even on approach. So I'll keep this one somewhat easy. I don't think I have any interest in any of these guys at -7.
Yeah, I mean, looking down this, it's really, to me, I agree with you. I don't see anybody in here that I really see myself clicking other than maybe one person. If I was going here, I'd probably go with Andrew Novak. Decently priced. I think if you're going to play anybody at the 7 unders, it's going to be him. He's gaining with the putter, yeah, but he's also tee to green, not been too bad. So personally, I think if you're going to go anywhere here, I think Andrew Novak is the guy I would sprinkle a little bit, but I'm with you. I got no interest in anybody else, I don't think.
Yeah, so I just brought up Corey Connors from like a birdie regression. Novak, I don't think he's striping it to the degree of like a Corey Connors and Hatton, obviously, but he's only had 8 birdies on the week. So he's actually losing right at even for the field for birdies on this golf course through 2 rounds. So a little bit interesting there. I mean, most of these guys in this range are like 2 or 3 above the field. So potentially, he could pick up 5 birdies in a round and try to stay bogey free. And he potentially has a GPP winning upside there. So don't hate it. The other guys there are pretty much kind of shot their wad, I think. Yeah. Like Justin Lauer, Brendan Todd really he just does it with the putter. That's basically it. So, all right, let's go to the -6s. So this is kind of interesting. So we got 2 studs here and then some chalky guys for the full week slate. So one of the things we talk about every week is guys, obviously, that are playing well, but also you look for guys that you probably researched and you liked for the full week slate anyways. And then you can kind of target them if they had an underperformance. And there's basically 4 guys in this range that I think most people probably clicked or had them in their player pool for the week. And Rory McIlroy, Justin Rose, Mark Hubbard, and Nate Lashley. Nate Lashley is one of the value chalk guys, and Mark Hubbard as well. And Rose, I think, was just grading out well in it for everybody. And then McIlroy's McIlroy. He's always going to get ownership, especially at the Canadian Open where he's won the last 2 events. So for me, the big guy here is Mark Hubbard. Mark Hubbard looks like he's left a lot out there. He's only 4 for 12 inside of 18 feet. Conversely, McIlroy's 5 for 11. So you can see there's a little bit of a discrepancy there for how well Hubbard's playing into the green. So honestly, I see all these guys in play for me. I guess Rose, you can kind of argue, is not hitting it as well as some of the other guys, but I like them all. McIlroy's fine. He's just expensive. SH Kim, we talked about on last night's show, and then Nate Lashley is still playing really well off of round 1. So I think if I had to rank them, price not considered, I'd probably say Hubbard, McIlroy, and then Lashley, and then Rose would probably be my 4th guy. So I'll let you fill it in there. But yeah, I really do like this range. This would be a spot where I think these guys are playing well enough, and they are also checking a lot of boxes to start the week off.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you on this range as well. Personally, I'm not playing SH Kim. I'm not going to go there. It's just a guy I don't click very often, and I don't feel comfortable with the other guys here in this range. McIlroy is probably my favorite. I liked him coming into the week. Everyone does at this course. Obviously, going to be chalky, but I mean, it's a guy that could easily go out and shoot 8 under tomorrow,
For sure.
and just get to the top of his leaderboard. So anytime he's in a field like this, I'll play him all the time in showdowns just with his upside. Nate Lashley, I liked him coming into the week as well. So I'll be playing him. Just tee to green wise, super solid. If he can get it going with the putter, could see a low round from him as well. Justin Rose. And then I'm going to be off of Hubbard personally.
Okay.
I never get that guy right. His off the tee game is not the greatest. Round 2 really struggled off the tee. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with Mark Hubbard ever, so I'm going to cross that name off, actually. If I'm rating these guys for me, it's probably McIlroy, Lashley, Rose, and then I'm off the other 2.
Yeah, it's weird. I have weighted stats for driving distance, and McIlroy's gaining 21 yards on the field in driving distance, and you kind of converse that with Mark Hubbard. He's losing 7 yards to the field. So between him and McIlroy, it's basically 30 yards difference into all the par 4s and par 5s, which is pretty crazy.
That's nuts.
That's a big discrepancy. That's what Michael Block was talking about. If he could just play from where McIlroy drives it, he'd be a world-class player, obviously. That is a pretty big gap. All right, let's go into the 5 under range. We got a few guys here. Some of them were probably considered for the full week slate. We have Adam Hadwin, Lee Hodges, Peter Malnati, Doug Gim, Roger Sloan, and Sung-Yul No. I'll be honest, I only have 2 guys in this list or in this range that I'm interested in. It's Sung-Yul No. I talked about on last night's show. Showed some stuff for us in round 1, and he was one of those guys that I figured he's cheap enough, just kind of attack. It's kind of like a low risk, high reward. And the other one there is Adam Hadwin. I mean, Adam Hadwin's been gaining on 90% of his approach shots. Honestly, I don't click a lot of Adam Hadwin. I feel like he's always overpriced for how well he performs on a week-to-week basis. But when he's playing well, he tends to go hot. I mean, we saw him shoot 59 in California a couple years ago. So I'm fine going back to Adam Hadwin. He's only 8,700, arguably a little bit expensive. But the other guys in this range, I don't really have any interest in. You could argue, or you could convince me, I guess. You could convince me into playing Hodges because we probably played a bunch of them this year. But yeah, Sung-Yul No, I'm going to go right back to. He's kind of like the David Lipsky from the last 2 weeks for me.
I like it, and I like the comparison to Lipsky too. But I'll be playing a little Soon You'll Know, as Snyder likes to throw in there. I definitely like that call down there. Lee Hodges is another guy that I liked coming into the week. Not too great of a first round, but bounced back for us here in the second round. He's actually gaining a little bit in every category for the whole week. So I'll be playing a little bit of Lee Hodges. I don't really like anybody else here. Adam Hadwin, I'm probably going to sprinkle in just because tee to green wise, I mean, he's just been solid. He's striping it. So I'll probably have him in the pool. But if I'm ranking the guys here, for me personally, it's probably Soon You'll Know, Lee Hodges, Adam Hadwin, those 3 guys. And That's probably it for me here.
All right, perfect. We'll move on down into -4. So a bigger range here. For me, I mean, obviously Tommy Fleetwood at 9,100. You compare that to Adam Hadwin. Obviously Fleetwood's a bit of a better class of player. Hasn't really played well this week. I mean, I can't remember what he shot in round 1, but he hasn't really moved up the leaderboard. He's losing. He's losing to the field in both driving accuracy and greens and regulation. And one of the stats I brought up last night is, at least for the leaderboard after round 1, is like a lot of guys were knocking like 270 off the tee and just hitting a lot of fairways. It seemed like that was more preferential over driving distance, and there was no bomb and gouge happening after round 1, I should say. So Fleetwood's really struggling a bit tee to green. He's only gaining on 57% of his tee shots. So that'll be a fade for me. I'm not sure he's really worth the price tag at this point in the proceedings. I think Harry Hall is fine. And then, I mean, the other guys are kind of unknowns. I brought up Harrison Endicott last night, but I'm not sold that he can even go low. Like he's just leaving so much out there. He's 1 of 8 inside of 18 feet. He's not really hitting it close. He's only got 2 shots inside of 12 feet on the par 4s and par 3s. This is probably going to be a range that I skip. I will say Higo is interesting. Like, he has not hit a lot close, but he's gaining on the field in driving distance, driving accuracy, and greens and regulation. So potentially there's some upside there, but he has not done much with how he's hitting it off the tee to this point. So I guess I would just say Harry Hall, and you could probably convince me to play some Brandon Wu, but I'm not really excited in this range.
Yeah, just looking here, I'm kind of with you on the Fleetwood fade. I was a little interested in him, but I don't know. I think your stats kind of tilted me the other way, so I might kind of lean off a little bit. I'll still have him in there because he's a guy that's live to go with 6-7 under if he can just get some putts falling and stuff. So I can't completely fade a guy like that, but I would rather go Hadwin over him personally for round 3. So that's where I'm heading there. Carson Young's a guy I loved coming into the week. One of my top 5 favorite guys, actually. I think he keeps getting underpriced personally for the golfer that he is. He keeps showing up for us, so I'll go back to him in round 3 as well. Garrick Higgle, I like that call. I was going to shout him out. I do like him tomorrow. I had my doubts coming into the week, but he's actually looked good this week. I always try to get him right and wrong. He's so hard to get right, honestly, because you never know which guy you're going to get. But I got him right this week so far. Hopefully he doesn't let me down, so I'll be throwing him back in there. And then Harry Hall, he continues to look good. It's just I don't know if I can keep clicking his name or not. That's the only thing.
I know.
That's a hard name to click.
After his first 2 rounds at Colonial, it's like that might have been his ceiling for his career.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. He's only 7,500, and he is hitting his irons pretty well, but it's tough for me. I just don't feel comfortable clicking him. Like, if he failed, I'd just be like, yeah, that's what I get. That's what I get for clicking him. So
exactly.
I wouldn't feel like I missed out if he shot like 4 under par. I'll just go on to the next slate, fade him, and I'll come out on top. All right, we can move down into the -3s. Pretty big range here and some bigger names. Matthew Fitzpatrick, Shane Lowry, Ludwig Aberg is down here. Let's see. No other real notable names, but a pretty big range nonetheless. There's a few guys down here, like some really cheap guys that are playing really well, to be honest. So some guys that pop in my stats that don't always mirror the strokes gained stuff is Kazire, Smotherman, Gribble. I know Gribble kind of popped on after round 1. He still looks like he's got upside. Sung Kang, Scott Brown, which is surprising. And at the top there, Ludwig Aberg. I'm just gonna keep going until I run out of slates this week, I guess, because the dude is just crushing it off the tee, and he's only gaining on 40% of his approach shots. And I kind of feel like it's the Bryson effect. Like, when you get close enough, like the scope of strokes gained gets so close that, like, just hitting it to 8 feet, you're losing out, because he's still hitting it really close. So I want to give it a shot. He's 3 for 7 inside of 12 feet, 3 for 13 inside of 18 feet. I think where he's driving it, he's gaining 20 yards on the field. He's gaining 15% on fairways. I'll keep going back to him. He's only 8,400. I think the dude's just going to be a stud at some point. And I think there's so much upside on any given slate. I'm going to keep going back to him. And I'm not even a homer, I don't think, but I've been very impressed with what I've seen from him this college season. I think he's going to do big things with his newly earned PGA Tour card. The other guy here is Matthew Fitzpatrick. He's 5 for 8 inside of 12 feet, but he's only 8 for 14, so inside of 18 feet. So I think Fitzy checks a lot of boxes in strokes gained, but he is hitting it close, has a lot of opportunity. So I think I would be willing to spend up in this range. It'd be like Fitzpatrick, Aberg, and then the cheap guys that I mentioned, like, I don't feel comfortable clicking their name, but Kazire, Smotherman, Gribble all check a lot of boxes for me. I just don't know if I'm really comfortable clicking their name, but they do grade out pretty well with a lot of birdie opportunities, and they're still kind of under the field in birdie. So some potential upside.
Yeah, those three names are definitely hard ones to get yourself to click. But,
ever. I know. I
mean,
understand.
I can honestly see myself clicking Smotherman out of those three. Yeah. He has looked solid lately. He's playing well. He just can't put 4 solid rounds together. Has been his problem, but he has actually looked good. Tee to green, he actually is hitting it well. So I'll be going back to him. I mean, he's cheap still, going to be low owned. He's never highly owned. So a guy I will be getting in there. Scott Brown, no thank you. No Brian Gay, no Wierenski. I love actually Shane Lowry. That's a guy I actually will probably play a decent amount of tomorrow.
Yeah.
I love him coming into the week. What's that?
And no one will play him.
There's I think he's going to be so low owned. And personally, I think he's a guy that can go out and shoot 600-700 under tomorrow and get up there towards the top of the leaderboard. So he's a guy I actually do like for leverage tomorrow a lot. Probably not a lot of other guys here. I don't like Fitzpatrick personally. I'm going to go with Aberg. I actually threw him in my core. I didn't want to have him because I didn't want to have the same guy as Kurt, but I like Aberg tomorrow. I liked him coming into the week too. Yeah, he's just going to be a stud, I think.
He's good, man. He's really good. I'm not big on the college kids coming out of school early, and he went the full 4 years, I believe, and finished number 1 on the PGA Tour U. And the dude he's just so good. You can tell talent and if they're ready or not. It's just he's one of those you can tell he's ready. He's already ready. Especially in this field, like when they price it out and you're going down the list, I'm like, all right, well, he didn't win NCAA Nationals, which is fine. He's been winning everything else. It's 1 week, not a big deal. He still played pretty solid. And like if you take any of these other guys and threw them in the NCAAs, he still would have probably beat them. You throw in Matt Kuchar in there, Sung Kang, Richie Wierenski, whoever. It just, especially in this field, you just attack the guy that's playing really well, and you also probably think he's better than them at least at some point in time. So, I'm glad to see that because I think people get so enamored with the stroke skating approach, and like I said, the dude's getting so much off the tee. He's got a really high bar to meet just to break even. Honestly, it's literally the Bryson effect. For sure. You got like 80 yards in and you don't hit it to 6 feet, you're losing strokes on approach. And even though you have 8 feet, which is a pretty good birdie look, you're losing strokes on approach. So, like I said, he's got 13 shots inside of 18 feet, 7 inside of 12 feet. Just give me the better Rory McIlroy at this point. We'll see. All right, we can go down to the -2s. Pretty good range here. Let's see. Eric Cole's probably pretty popular to start the week. Nick Taylor as well. I don't think anybody else in this range was really super popular. A couple guys that stand out. Cameron Percy, which is interesting. Kind of a shorter hitter, but straight. He's losing 22 yards. He's only using 2 yards. Mike Weir's losing 22 yards on the field, which is very concerning. I'm fine with – no, I take that back. I was going to say I'm fine with James Hahn, but he's like the Russell Knox for me. Like the dude will gain strokes in every category, but he never makes a putt. So it's absurd. And he gains so many strokes on approach. Like his irons are so good. Yeah, he's 2 of 10 inside of 12 feet. 2 of 10 inside of 12 feet. So a reasonable person would think he's due to make some birdies, but I've been down this road before. He's not. I think I don't know. Nick Taylor, I guess, would be the guy I would go to in this range. He is playing pretty well, tee to green, and he has the Canadian bias, I guess. So no one else here is really exciting to click, I should say. Even Eric Cole, who I like for the week, has not played well to this point, so I'm fine fading. But I think Nick Taylor and I guess Will Gordon, you could probably convince me to play. Those two would be the only two I would click.
Yeah, I'm with you on it being a slim pickings down here. And these last couple ranges I feel like are going to go kind of quick, but there's always some hidden gems, I think. A couple of – what's that?
I'm agreeing with that. I said, yeah.
Yeah, there's always a couple
hidden gems with those guys.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a Matt Kuchar, a guy that's possibly going to come low owned. He can get us 5-6 birdies in a round, no bogeys, get us a bogey-free round type of thing. I do like a guy like that tomorrow, possibly. I mean, he's not hitting the ball incredibly. I mean, by no means, but it's just a guy that I think can string together for us a 4 or 5 under round tomorrow. James Hahn, I'll be off of. Mike Weir, no thanks. Will Gordon, no thanks. Another guy I will like is Sam Bennett. Ever since his performance at the Masters, it's another kid I like. He's got a ton of talent. You can tell he's pretty much ready for the stage. On the weekends, he's kind of faltered for us, but that comes with time. You know what I mean? Tournaments like this, it's a lot of pressure. I don't think people realize. You've played in tournaments, I'm sure. It's just people don't realize the kind of pressure. And we're playing in these tiny tournaments. They're playing on the PGA Tour. It's like, there's a lot of nerves there that you don't see. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. So he's a really good talent. I'll be throwing him in there. I personally am going to be off Cam Percy. No Andrew Landry. I loved Nick Taylor coming into the week. Love that he bounced back for us and made the cut with a solid round today. So I'll be loving him on round 3. Eric Cole, I actually do like a lot. I was choosing between him and Aberg for my core for tomorrow. I'll probably end up throwing both of them in a bunch of lineups. So I do like Eric Cole to bounce back for us. And that's pretty much it for me here. I'm not going to be playing any Wale, Piercy, no Sig. So I'd say in order for me down here, it's going to be Nick Taylor, Eric Cole, and then Sam Bennett, Matt Kuchar probably for me in this range.
Speaking of tournaments, this is probably I'll bring it up because we're about to talk about the -1s who are teeing off early. I'm not sure I've ever seen this before, and people listening probably won't even care, but you might get a laugh out of this. I've never seen tee times do this. So for the first hour, they're 5-minute increments, I think. Yeah, they're 5-minute increments, and then they go to 10-minute increments after 10 o'clock. Or I'm sorry, 15-minute. It's bizarre. So the first tee time is 9 o'clock, and then it's 9:05, 9:15. So they're 10-minute increments. And then when 10 o'clock hits, it goes to 10:15, and then it goes back to 10:20, 10:30, 10:40. I don't know. I've never seen staggered tee times like that before.
I wonder if is it because there's so many freaking people tied at the cut line?
I mean, they're all twosomes. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the extra people. I'm not sure. Just with how many people are tied, that's weird.
But it's like the first tee time is literally 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes.
That don't make sense.
It doesn't. No. And then another one. Then they're 10 minutes. And then there's a 15-minute gap, and then they're 10 minutes after that. It's kind of.
That's odd.
I don't know. I've never seen that before. I'd be curious what the idea behind that is.
Who knows?
Well, besides the point, I was just pulling up tee times. I'm like,
probably
everyone's going off. Everyone's going off in 10-minute increments, and I'm like, no. Now they're all going off in 15-minute increments. It doesn't. Make
probably part of the merger.
Yeah. Screw up the tee times. Makes sense. they're trying to slowly get us to shotgun starts. Is what they're doing.
Oh my god.
All right. Oh, that's terrible. I heard someone talk about that the other day, and they're like, that's so much excitement because everyone's finishing at the same time, but they're not finishing on the same hole. So I have no idea.
Jesus.
Are they on a par 5? They're going to make eagle. Are they on a par 3? They're going to make bogey. But they're finishing at the same time. It's like, no, I don't. That doesn't make sense still.
No.
All right. Live talk. Jeez. We'll probably have to get to that at some point. But, so -1s, last range that we'll talk about, the cut line was at -1. So, like you said, there's always some gems that are that just crept through the cut line, especially after the cut. But the guys that are down here, you could certainly find guys that you liked for the whole week. Sahith Theegala is down here. Cameron Young's down here. Michael Kim's down here. There's really only a few guys. I mean, I honestly, I could never argue off of a guy like Cameron Young, and Theegala looks terrible, but I could kind of buy into it. He's going to be 1.5% owned. So yeah, I mean, go for it. But Michael Kim continues to play extremely well. Tee to green. He's made a good handful of putts inside of 12 feet, but he's striking it so well. I think he has a low one in there if he can stay off the bogeys and the double bogeys. So Michael Kim at 8K would probably be my favorite play in this range. Henrik Norlander is interesting. He's got 6 shots inside of 12 feet, 14 shots inside of 18 feet. So he's hitting it really well through 36 holes. I mean, 14 shots inside of 18 feet is doing some work. So I'm cool with it. Henrik Norlander. And I mean, I'm not sure if this is the best course for him, but I will say Brent Grant is playing some pretty good golf. He's gaining on the field in every category: distance, driving accuracy, greens and regulation. He's got 9 shots inside of 12 feet, which is one of the best in the field so far. So I would throw in Brent Grant at 6,500 as an interesting play. He is also the longest guy in the field, averaging 23 yards over the field average, which is pretty impressive. And also hitting more fairways than the field average. So, it's just unbelievable. But, yeah, so those 3 guys, I mean, like I said, Cameron Young, Sahith Theegala in this range. But for me, Michael Kim, Henrik Norlander, and I'll throw in Brent Grant as a final, punt.
I like it. I like the stats you where do you get those kind of stats? I actually love the stats you look at, field average, yards over, all that crap. It sounds interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, just you can pull the driving distance and stuff for the event, and then you're just trying to weight it to the field average. It makes more sense to me than saying he's averaging 312. Well, are you playing farmers? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't know if that necessarily translates this week with driving distance, but it's certainly impressive if he's driving it like McIlroy and hitting more fairways than the field. So it's like a double whammy. But yeah, I always do weighted to the field because I just feel like it's easier to understand, at least in my brain.
Love it. For me, I mean, down here rounding it out at the 100s, there's literally a handful of guys. I'll say 5 guys for sure that I will be having in here. And I actually like these guys a lot. They're guys that I can see just jumping up the leaderboard tomorrow. I'll start with Akshay. I think Akshay is super interesting tomorrow. I mean, tee to green wise, really, he's striping it. He just can't make a freaking putt. If he gets the putter rolling, look out. I think he's a guy that can go super low and climb the board fast. He's probably my favorite down here. Okay. I won't be going much below him. I like Michael Kim. He's one of my other guys I wanted to mention as well, so I'm glad you're on him. So I'll be definitely jamming in some Michael Kim. He'll just look solid for us. Cam Young, I liked coming into the week. I'll always play Cam Young. If this guy can ever find a putter, I mean, I thought his caddy was actually going to help his putting.
I think
it's gotten worse, and I'm like, I just don't understand. You're this good at golf. Focus on putting.
He shaved his beard.
Yeah, I don't get it. I'm one that I'm going to find my weakness, and I'm going to pound that weakness until it's no longer a weakness. And I feel like he's just okay, I'm just going to continue sucking at putting. I don't even care.
Yeah, and actually get worse at other parts.
I don't understand, but well, whatever. I'll keep jamming the guy because when he does find it, I mean, he's going to have a nuke round.
Exactly,
he's a guy I want to have in Showdown. I mean, especially right now because he's going to be low owned and he can just nuke at any point. Theegala, another guy, he's putting well this week. He just can't find his swing. So he's my 4th guy I would mention, and then Smalley. I like Smalley actually coming into the week here. So I'll be playing a little Alex Smalley tomorrow as well.
Yeah, good call on Batia. I mean, it's 7,900, totally fine. Like you said, he's not making much, but his ball striking has been pretty good. He's got he's 2 of 7 inside of 12 feet, 2 of 11 inside of 18 feet. So still well within reason. Michael Kim is just unreal. The number of shots he's hitting. Yeah. I mean, through 36 holes, he's got 21 and 36 holes, but this is only counting par 4s and par 3s. He's got 21 shots inside of 24 feet, and that's out of 30 approach shots. So 21 out of 30 approach shots inside of 24 feet. So obviously not all those are makeable, but in my mind, if you're inside of 24 feet, if you could be inside of 24 feet every single hole, you're not going to shoot bad scores. You might not make every putt, but at some point you are, and you're going to go.
Unless you putt like Cam Young, then you'll shoot a bad score.
I think you would shoot even. I mean, that would be the bad score. But yeah, I mean, 21 shots at 21 out of 30 inside of 24 feet is just sick. I mean, geez, I mean, you could just like blindly putt it around the hole and probably go in, half the time or a third of the time. So yeah, good show.
Want to throw in a show core?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We can do a quick showdown core.
Let's go 1-1-1-1.
Yeah, we'll do 4 guys. I'll let you lead off for this go around.
Oh, give me the pressure right away.
Yeah, Snyder threw it on me last night, and he was adamant that we did an AM stack, and I didn't even have the tee times up, so I had to just toss out 2 names at a time, and he would give me the yay or nay.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think we necessarily need the stack from what I could look at, but yeah, I'll give you the pressure to give me your favorite, and you get the first dibs.
All right, well, I'll take the first dibs here, and I'll take him with a guy I have in my main core and my showdown core for tomorrow, Akshay Bhatia. I love him tomorrow. Tee to green wise, Ben Stellar. He's going to find his putter. He's going low for us.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take the other side. I'm gonna say Ludwig Aberg. I'm just gonna go right back to it, man. I'm not gonna quit him until he makes me $1 somewhere. But yeah, 8,400 Ludwig Aberg just crushing it tee to green. I'll go with Aberg there, and I guess I'll kick it right back to you, and then I'll go last.
Oof. I'm gonna go, man. I'll do a spend up because I feel like you're gonna go cheap here. I think I know.
I am going cheap. Yeah.
I think I know exactly what you're gonna say, so I'll skip over saying him, and I'll go an expensive guy, Corey Connors. He's got the Canadian thing going on. It's a Canadian Open. The guys look stellar all year. Yeah, it's a narrative. Whatever. He's gonna crush it tomorrow. I'm throwing in Corey Connors in there for us.
All right. My last guy is Michael Kim, mister. I like Michael Kim for round 3, and if he can keep it up, I mean, it's just obscene numbers that he's throwing up there. And yeah, maybe he can pull some John Deere magic out of his hat from a couple years ago. So I think that'll do it. We'll be a bit in the Discord. I think Snyder will be back, and I know Kurt is lurking somewhere, but feel free to drop any questions you have in the RPS Discord. And Locks, I appreciate you joining the show. Any final thoughts for us?
No, I don't see any weather advantages or anything like that. So just go with your gut. I mean, don't change your mind. Every time you change your mind, you always choose it the wrong way. So go with your first instinct, and let's run Pier. We'll see you at the top.
Yep. Don't be afraid to leave some salary again. Like if you got it 11-2, don't feel like you have to force in McElroy. You can still pay down and have some unique showdown builds with some significant upside. They're just the same. So I think that'll do it. For everybody here at Run Pure Sports, we appreciate you joining us. Hit the like, subscribe. Check us out, runpuresports.com. Use Summer33 for 33% off your subscription. All sports, one price. JSU, if you're there, get us out of here.